It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. A battle of right-handers tonight. Dave Bush on the mound for Milwaukee, and the rookie John Eli for the Dodgers. Certainly not a tough act to follow. The way Clayton Kershaw and also Chad Billingsley pitched, Dodgers found themselves behind by the second inning in both games and never could recover. By the way, the Milwaukee Brewers were in the American League for 29 years. Started to play the Dodgers in the National League in 1998. They had never won 2 games in a row at Dodger Stadium. They have never won a series at Dodger Stadium by a sweep, and they're looking at that tonight. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
Brad, you said we have 10 people doing what? You said we have 10 people on the charter? Pretty much what he did in New York, with the exception of the error that he made. You can see right here in these highlights, doing a pretty good job of keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate, getting guys to chase balls that are out of the strike zone. If you can get ahead in the count, you can expand that strike zone a little bit better.
And it'd be nice, Steve, obviously, if the Dodgers offense, top of the order, something could get him some runs and settle him down.
Yeah, I think one of the big keys is to make sure they catch the ball, because I think a lot of balls are going to be hit today. But on top of that, hey, how about the Dodgers going out and hitting? Xavier Paul starts off the game, get a base hit, maybe Matt Kemp drives one somewhere, score 2 or 3 runs, let Eli take that big breath and say, now I can be a little finer with my pitches and not have to worry so much.
And a couple of things that were working for the Dodgers until last night. defense and the bullpen, so see if they can do better there.
Absolutely. The bullpen needs to get back to what they do. They're one of the best bullpens in baseball over the last couple of years. And I think Joe Torre's getting closer to having those guys fit in where he wants them.
We have a poll question for you tonight, FoxSportsWest.com. We've seen the National League West. Now, how many wins will it take to win it this year? 81 to 85, 86 to 90, or 91 or more? What do you got, a little thought for us?
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit more middle of the pack. I think a lot of the teams in this division will beat up on each other more this year.
All right, we just need one. We'll take one, and hopefully John Eli is the guy. Tonight, we have first pitch for you. Coming up next on Prime Ticket with Vin.
More by Shakey's. Who pitched the perfect game in 1965? Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By AT&T TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit att.com or call 1-800-PICK-ATT for details. By Southwest Airlines. Go to Southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. It's the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers closing up a three-game series with the Brewers trying to attempt to sweep the Dodgers in Los Angeles for the first time in franchise history. Of course, Milwaukee's had a team in the National League in the early 50s that moved over from Boston called the Milwaukee Braves. Then when they moved down to Atlanta, the Milwaukee Brewers came in for 29 years in the American League. And then the Brewers started to play the Dodgers in the National League in 1998. And as we said, this is a big night if the Brewers can do it. Standing in the way is a young Dodger pitcher by the name of John Eli, and here are the players he'll have to face. Ricky Weeks at second base leading off. Jim Edmonds in center field. You may remember that Carlos Gomez hurt his shoulder last night. So Edmonds in center, Ryan Braun in left, Prince Fielder hitting cleanup at first base. Casey McGee at third, Greg Zahn, switch hitting catcher behind the plate. Corey Hart is in right field. Alcides Escobar is the shortstop, and Dave Bush the pitcher. On the mound for the Dodgers, 24-year-old John Eli. He'll be 24 in a few days on the 13th of May. He was originally signed by the White Sox 3 years ago. He was a number 3 pick out of Miami of Ohio University and came to the Dodgers in the deal that sent Juan Pierre to Chicago. Even at a young age in high school, he reached a peak. He pitched a perfect game while pitching in a high school ball game, and he was spotted early. He'll bring a good fastball, curveball, change, and he's added a cutter last year against left-hand batters. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He's got one game under his belt, and John is 0-1. He started the year in Albuquerque. This will be his first look at the Braves. And in his only game, he started against the New York Mets, went 6 innings, allowed 5 earned runs, and suffered a loss. So the Dodgers and the Brewers wrapping up the work, and the Colorado Rockies will be here starting tomorrow night. Ricky Weeks came here in a slump. He has fought his way out of it. He's now hitting .265. He has 4 home runs, 17 runs batted in. The second baseman in last night's game had a couple singles and a walk and reached on an error. The game before, he had a walk and a single. So Ricky, right-hand batter, takes low, ball 1, and we're underway. John Eli looks down to get a sign, turns on the rubber and comes back and gets a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Temperature a beautiful evening, 67 degrees. Eli heaves a little sigh, now looks down the barrel to get a sign, and the 1-1 pitch over the top, swung on, hit to left field, coming back to grab it is Ethier Paul, and makes a good running catch for the out. So Weeks hits it hard, but an out. Let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather, and they shape up with Paul, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield, with Blake, Carroll, DeWitt, and Loney on the infield, and the battery of Russell Martin and John Eli. The veteran Jim Edmonds played right field, but has moved to center field tonight. Gomez played in game 1 in center. Edmonds started last night in right and then had to finish up, and he's starting center field tonight. Jim last night was 0 for 4 with a walk, robbed of a hit on a well-hit ball that was run down by Reed Johnson. He takes a strike. 0-2 the count to Jim Edmonds, batting .279, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and a proud possessor of 8 Gold Gloves. Jim, at 39 years old, swings and doesn't get it, and down he goes. So Weeks flies to left. Edmonds strikes out, and the batter now is Ryan Braun. Ryan Braun wearing out the Dodgers. In game 1, he had a double and a triple, and he has always played very well at Dodger Stadium. Then last night, he had 2 singles and a run batted in. So he brings a .355 batting average, 5 home runs, 24 runs batted in, and the right-hand batter takes a strike, and the count 0-1. So Ryan Braun, who started out his big league career at third base, and he just was not a third baseman. He was Rookie of the Year in 2007 and then made history when they moved him. Check swing foul, 0-2 the count. That was the first time in history a fellow was a Rookie of the Year, and the next year was playing a totally different position from third base of the outfield. Born in Mission Hills and makes his home in Granada Hills. So Ryan checks in and waiting. His mom is truly a brewer. She makes beer for Anheuser-Busch. Strike 2 pitch is swung on and fouled upstairs off to the right, fastball alley. And it's still 0-2 to Ryan Braun. Braun was a first-round pick by Milwaukee 5 years ago. Came up to the Brewers 3 years ago and has just been marvelous. He's at .324, .320, and hitting .355 right now. Takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Ryan went to the University of Miami as a business major, and he was on a partial academic scholarship. Ryan backs out for a moment. He'll be 27 the middle of November. And the 1-2 pitch cracked his bat and flares it into left field for a base hit. So Ryan Braun continues to wear out the Dodgers, especially here. He'll take a cracked bat base hit. Coming in, he was 11 for 21. Then he had 2 hits. That made him 13 for 25. Then last night he had 2 more hits. That gives him 15, and now he has his 16th hit here just at Dodger Stadium. So with Braun in first, and one other thing, he is 6 for 6 in stolen bases. And there he goes. The pitch, a strike. The throw, he is safe. The ball was bobbled by Jamie Carroll, so he could not make the tag. So Braun is 7 for 7 with all of his other abilities. And remember, this year, he has stolen third base 3 times. If Carroll had held on to the ball, he would have gotten him, but the ball was swirling around and finally came out of the glove. Bob Davidson right there to make the call. Strike 1 pitch to Fielder is in the dirt, blocked by Martin. 1 ball and 1 strike. Prince hitting only .245, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. But when you find out that he's had a severe bruised left hand, you can understand why he's not hitting the way he normally would. Last year, for instance, 46 home runs and 141 runs batted in. He takes low, 2-1 the count. Prince Fielder, about 5'11" and 260, a #1 pick 8 years ago. Left-hand batter waiting on the 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. 2-2 the count. Fielder in last night's game had 2 singles and they walked him twice. He had a 2-run home run in game 1. The son of Cecil Fielder of big league fame. He was named after a great uncle as well as the rock star, and he takes strike 3 call. So John Eli gets out of 2, gives up a base hit to Braun, strikes out his second man of the inning, and with Fielder hanging over the plate, he's been hit by the pitch 7 times. Week 16 pitches, striking out 2, leaving a man. Now let's take a look at the Dodger lineup, trying to get him some runs. Xavier Paul in left field, followed by Matt Kemp and then Andre Ethier. James Loney moves up to hit cleanup, followed by Casey Blake. Then you have Russell Martin and Blake DeWitt, Jamie Carroll, and John Eli. On the mound, Dave Bush. Bush 30 years old. He'll be 31 in November. Born in Pittsburgh and lives in Devon, Pennsylvania. And his first pitch to Xavier Paul is high, ball one. Dave is 6'2", 215-pounder. Originally a second-round pick by the Blue Jays out of Wake Forest University. Right-hander turns on the rubber, and the 1-0 pitch on the way is taken off the plate. Ball two, 2-0. Dave Bush had 2 years where he won in double figures. For the Brewers, he was 12-11 and 12-10. He hadn't come close to that since. The 2-0 pitch on the way is off the plate. Ball three, 3-0. So Xavier Paul hitting .227 in and out of the lineup. Reed Johnson last night, Xavier Paul tonight. And Saturday it will be Manny Ramirez. The 3-0 pitch misses inside. So Paul draws the walk to open up matters. And that'll bring up Matt Kemp. We'll take a look at the Brewers defensively. The outfield of Braun, Edmonds, and Hart. The infield of McGee, Escobar, Weeks, and Fielder. And the battery of Dave Bush and Greg Zahn. Matt Kemp now will check in, hitting .295. 7 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Bush has been fighting. You can tell immediately it's been tough so far for him as Kemp checks in, because Bush has walked 13 while striking out 15. That's too many in the walk department. The Dave out of a stretch. Paul held on by Fielder, and the pitch to Kemp sprayed foul off first base, twisting its way down the line and out of play. 0-1 the count. Dave comes in with an earned run average of 4.6, but of course Doug Davis came in last night with an earned run average of 8.8 and did very well and picked up the win. So 0-1 the count to Matt Kemp. Bush set at the belt, a backward glance at Paul, who runs well, and the pitch to Kemp is a scrambling block by Greg Zahn. 1 ball and 1 strike. When Dave Bush went to Wake Forest, believe it or not, he went as a scholarship player, as a catcher, but then he blossomed as a relief pitcher, and eventually he was picked by the Devil Rays in the 4th round, but he didn't think they offered him enough and he didn't sign. They drafted him again and he signed. There goes Paul, high throw off the glove of Ricky Weeks, but he would not have been able to make the tag anyway. So Xavier Paul steals second. You would expect, in all honesty, when you have a 38, 39-year-old catcher whom you figure would be playing as a backup maybe once a week. Instead, Greg playing almost every day as the front catcher. So at 39, you figure if you get some base runners, you're going to take advantage. So Kemp now on a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Out of a stretch goes Bush. Dave delivers, and that's fouled away, and the count 2-2. So finally, after Dave Bush was drafted a second time, he signed. And while pitching for the Blue Jays against the Oakland A's, that'd be 6 years ago, he had a no-hitter into the 8th inning, and then finally gave it up, and Toronto went on to lose to the A's in that game. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Bush looks back at second, works his hitter, and Kemp hits one in the air to center. Going back is Edmonds, way back, makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Tagging up easily and going to third is Xavier Paul. Boy, Jim Edmonds just turned. You think he was just going after a fly ball in the backyard, but he's gone back for so many over the years, collecting 8 gloves. But it was almost a casual catch with his back to home plate. So Kemp, a long fly ball. The Dodgers with a runner at third. Of course, Edmonds made a lot of highlight catches. One of them, remember, he went sprawling head first, and we saw that thing for a couple of years. And he is still capable of dazzling you with the glove. So 1 out, a runner at third, and the Brewers in the first inning play the infield out with Andre Ethier at the plate. Dave Bush ready, delivers off speed, outside, ball 1, 1-0. Andre Ethier hitting .250 against Bush as Ken Maka, the Brewer manager, looks on. Ethier has a home run against Dave in the past. Bush again set with the infield up, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. The right-handed delivers, and that's foul back, and the count 1-1. Interesting, the Dodger who wears Bush out in the past is not in the starting lineup tonight. He did play last night. Ronnie Belliard had 2 singles and a walk last night, spelling Blake DeWitt. Belliard is hitting .462 against Dave Bush, including a home run, but he'll sit this one out. Now the 1-1 pitch coming up to Andre Ethier, swung on, fouled off, and the count 1-2. Ethier batting .366, 9 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Last year, left-handers hit .293 against Bush with 10 home runs. Right-handers hit .295 with 9 home runs, so he didn't have a very good year. Right-hander ready, in the 1-2 pitch. Ethier pulls away at a pitch of the chin, and the count 2-2. Last year with the Brewers, Dave Bush was 5-9, and actually was sent down and played some at Huntsville and even in the Wisconsin League. So Dave trying to fight his way back, straightens up, and the 2-2 pitch to Andre Ethier. Right-hander deals down at the ankle, and Ethier had to pull the ankle away and run across home plate to get out of the way. So 3-2 the count, with James Loney on deck. No score, bottom of the first inning. Bush works from the first base side of the rubber, bends at the knees and waist as he looks in to get a sign from Greg Zahn. Now the right-hander ready, and the 3-2 pitch, and Ethier looks at ball 4 off the plate. So now you know Dave Bush's problem. It's as old as the game itself. He's struggling with his control. So first and third, one away, no score in the first inning. Again, remember, a rather important game for Milwaukee. They are trying to sweep a series at Dodger Stadium for the first time in franchise history. James hitting .339, 2 home runs, 18 runs batted in. So in the inning, Paul walked, stole second, took third on a long fly ball. Ethier walks, and now here's Loney with Casey Blake on deck. Dave Bush ready, here he comes, and misses ball 1. So he is pitching uphill, pitching behind to every hitter. He came from the Blue Jays in the deal that sent, among others, Lyle Overbay to Toronto. The Maka sweating him out here in the first inning. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Bush set at the letters, right-handed delivers, big slow breaking ball, and it drops in for a strike. That was in the 60s. 1-1 the count. Dave head down for a moment, deep in thought. Fastball, slider, curveball, and a change. Now he straightens up, another look at the runners. And the 1-1 pitch coming up to James Loney. It's a fastball hit to dead center. Edmonds has to really go and get it, and does. Tagging up is Xavier Paul to trot in, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead as Loney's fly ball cashes in the run. But James, as he trots back to the dugout, that would be his 19th run batted in.
Number 23.
So 1-0 Dodgers in the first inning, and the batter now Casey Blake. For the Dodgers, rather refreshing. It's the first time they've had a lead, albeit a little one, but nevertheless they're out in front. Remember, they were buried in the second inning of game 1, a 9-run inning for Milwaukee. last night. Milwaukee had 4 in the first inning. So it's the Dodgers that get on the board in the first inning tonight. Casey Blake takes a slow curved ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Casey has been through it all. Had a rough night last night. 1 hit, struck out, hit into a double play, committed 2 errors. Strike 1 pitch he takes low. Zahn pushes it out in front of the plate, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Xavier Paul walks and steals second. A fly ball gets him to third, and a fly ball gets him home. And the Dodgers are out in front, 1-0. Greg Zahn settling into a crouch behind the plate, shuffling his cards. Dave Bush bent at the waist, looking in. Now he's ready. The 1-1 pitch on the way, and the right-hander delivers. Fastball low and inside. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. A lot of people like to look at a player and say he reminds me of somebody else. The Brewers general manager Doug Melvin felt that Dave Bush looks like a young Rick Helling. You may remember that name, a 20-game winner. There's a fly ball into shallow right. Weeks going now, but it's a routine play for the right fielder Corey Hart. So the Dodgers settle for 1, and at the end of an inning, the Dodgers 1 and the Brewers nothing. Cash in Xavier Paul, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead into the second inning. For Dave Bush, he made 21 pitches, and of course that's not the way to pitch. He actually missed the strike zone more. 12 balls, 9 strikes, and sure enough, he paid the price. Now in the second inning, Casey McGee, Greg Zahn, and Corey Hart in that order. McGee hitting .299. He has 5 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Casey last night had 1 hit in 5 at-bats. He lost an extra base hit on a great catch by Matt Kemp. And the pitch to McGee in for a strike. In game 1, he had 2 hits and 5 at-bats. So Casey McGee doing well with Greg Zahn on deck. Casey looks at a pitch off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. John Eli in his second major league game. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. John gave up a base hit but nothing else in the first inning. Pitching bare-armed as he looks down the barrel to get a sign. The 1-2 pitch to McGee is a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. So the Brewers have the tying run aboard immediately here in the second inning, and that'll bring up Greg Zahn. So McGee out of Santa Cruz, went to school at Fresno State, and opens up the second inning with a base hit. Now Greg Zahn, who did not play last night but had a great game in the first game of the series. He had a single, he had a double, he had a 2-run home run. He was also hit by a pitch. Greg batting .257, 10 runs batted in, and hits a fly ball to left center. Coming over is Ethier, and he'll make the play. And holding on is McGee. So Zahn didn't hang around very long. 1 out, and Corey Hart coming up. So big Corey Hart, 6'6", 215-pounder out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Corey's been with the Brewers or in the organization since the year 2000 and first came up to the Brewers 6 years ago. Hart hitting .268, and the first pitch is in the dirt, blocked nicely by Martin. 1 ball and no strikes. Corey has 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. He's hit as many as 24 home runs. He did that 3 years ago. And he's had as many as 91 RBIs. He did that 2 years ago. Corey waiting, bent slightly at the knees. Back comes the pitch, and it swung on and popped up in foul ground. Casey Blake comes over waiting and makes the catch for the out. So McGee singles to center. Zahn swings at a pitch early in the count and flies out. Corey Hart comes up and swings at a pitch early and fouls out. So just like that, 2 down. And Alcides Escobar, as we have mentioned several times during the series. Escobar, fine-looking young ball player out of Venezuela. What makes him different is the fact he's not wearing 13. And the pitch to him is high and inside, ball 1. Escobar wears number 21, but most shortstops out of Venezuela go for 13. His nickname El Siguiente, which means the next one, because they've assumed for years that he's going to be exactly where he is in the big leagues. The 1-0 pitch is in for a strike. The next one to follow great Venezuelan shortstops like Luis Aparicio, Davy Concepcion, Ozzie Guillen, and Omar Vizquel. Last year he ran a bit, stole 42 out of 52 at AAA. So he has a tremendous amount of ability. And the thing that really catches your eye when he has a play, his arm. As Ken Maka said, he can throw a pea over there to first base, and that's about what it looks like. 1-1 the count to Alcides, and he has a look at a strike. 1-2. He's long and lean. He's 6'1", maybe 175 thereabouts. Rated the #1 prospect in the Brewers farm system, and here he is. 21 years old. He'll be 22 the middle of December. The 1-2 pitch on the way is swung on, grounded back a third to Casey Blake, down to second for the force play, and that's that. No runs, a leadoff single, and a man left. And at the end of an inning and a half, Dodgers very young teenagers, braces on teeth, stuffing that cotton candy in their mouths, and both of them with the initials LA on their right cheek. And as your mom or dad, you'd be very thankful to know you can wash that stuff off. And we go to the second, 1-0 Dodgers. It'll be Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt, and then Jamie Carroll. And Bush first pitch high, ball one. So he's fighting it. 1-0 the count. Martin batting .250, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. Bush turns on the rubber. The right-hander comes back with a pitch in for a high strike around the letters, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Martin in last night's game was hitting in the number 2 slot and had 2 base hits. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and Russell lays off it. It's at the eyes. 2-1 the count. He's had a great deal of success against Dave Bush. Martin batting .444. That's 4 for 9 with a home run. Bush comes back 2-1, and a breaking ball dips in for a strike, and a count 2-2. So after a lot of fastballs, he came with a slider and got the corner. 2-2 the count. On deck, Blake DeWitt. Dave Bush ready, and the 2-2 pitch, breaking ball hit in the air to right center. Edmonds is right there, so he's pretty much omnipresent. He's now made his 3rd putout in center field. And the batter will be Blake DeWitt. Blake DeWitt rested last night, and in the first game had a double going 1 for 4. So Blake batting .294 with 8 runs batted in. He has never faced Dave Bush before, as Dave looks in to get a sign. Now the right-hander ready, and here he comes. Fastball, but low, ball one. So he's been consistent, but it's a poor consistency pitching behind. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Now the 1-0 pitch, and that's off the plate. Ball 2. 2-0. The run the Dodgers got, Xavier Paul walked, stole second, and a couple of fly balls to center moved him around. 2-0 pitch is a little dribbler going foul outside of first. 2-1 the count. And back to first now to start all over again is Blake DeWitt. Last year, Dave Bush, who struggles with his control anyway, only pitched 114 innings, and it was rather surprising that he hit 15 batters. So far, 29 innings coming into this game, he has hit only 1. 2-1 the count. Dave ready. Now the 2-1 pitch to Blake DeWitt, and that's a strike. 2-2. We talked about the fact that Dave had a no-hitter against the A's into the 8th inning and lost that game. He also had a no-hitter into the 8th inning in April against Philadelphia. That was broken up by Matt Stairs, who had a pinch hit home run. Ground ball to Prince Fielder. He'll hang it for Bush coming over. And just like that, we have 2 away. You know, a reminder, you can now enjoy all they can eat at the beach. That's right, Bleacher Beach, open Friday through Sunday. Also includes access to a private beach party, compliments of Bud Light. And starting tomorrow, fans receive a vintage Bleacher Beach t-shirt. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or call 866-DODGERS. Which reminds me, tomorrow night, the theme will be the 60s. Here comes Jamie Carroll, and it's been happening so far to almost every hitter. The first pitch misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Just to conclude the thought on Dave Bush as he comes back 1-0 and gets a strike. That no-hitter broken up by Matt Stairs with a pinch hit home run. But Bush did get the win. Went 7 2/3. They won the game 6-1. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's swung on, foul down the line off first base. 1-2. It's 1-0 Dodgers. Second inning. Xavier Paul walked, stole second. took third on Kemp's fly ball to center, scored on Loney's fly ball to center. And that's it. Carroll hitting .250, 1 run batted in. We mentioned that Manny Ramirez will be playing left field on Saturday against Colorado. Next pitch outside. Manny will play tonight at Lake Elsinore. Then he'll come here and take BP and sit out tomorrow night's game, and he'll be in there Saturday. As far as Rafael Furcal is concerned, that's still somewhat up in the air. He might do a rehab beginning of next week. Carroll hits one foul down the right field line, so the count stays 2-2. They're trying to work out where it makes the most sense schedule-wise for when Rafael Furcal will start to play again. He's sitting there with Rafael Belliard just at his right arm and Blake DeWitt on the railing. 2-2 the count. Dave Bush ready, delivers and misses just inside. Ball 3. 3-2 the count. 1-0 Dodgers, second inning. Now the right-hander ready, and his 3-2 pitch. Fastball lined into right field, and actually, since Hart was way over near the line, it's going to go all the way to the wall. Rounding second and holding is Carroll. So they were playing Jamie Carroll to hit more towards the right field line, and a line drive base hit to right field went all the way to the scoreboard. There was just nobody there. So Corey Hart trying to run it down, and by the time he did, Jamie was into second base with the double. A veteran player, he rounded second, thinking about third, and then I'm sure he thought, no, wait a minute. If they get me, then the pitcher leads off the next inning. I'll be content with a double. He immediately turned to see what Corey Hart was doing. So a 2-out double to right. Here's John Eli. Have no idea if he can swing the bat at all. We know he can't bunt. The breaking ball strike. In fact, the coaches were saying about Eli in the only other game he played, they said he's going to get killed. So they gave him to Maury Wills. And Maury was trying to teach him how to bunt, because he's not going to do that now with 2 out. Strike one pitch on the way to young John. Slow curveball grounded back a third. Up at the third, McGee. The throw gets by Fielder, and the run scores. The best way to describe Prince Fielder, maybe he didn't want to avoid a collision, but it was almost a casual catch of the throw. So the Dodgers not only take a 2-0 lead, but John Eli goes to second base. It was kind of a high throw, but not that kind. But Fielder never stretched. He just reached. It was like ho-hum. I'm going to stand on the bag. Bad play by the big first baseman, and it means a run. So Prince Fielder, all 260 pounds of him, has to be very embarrassed. And the Dodgers say thank you very much and lead 2-0. He will draw a well-deserved error. And the first pitch now is low to Xavier Paul. So for Prince Fielder, has he been much of a fielder? Yes. That was his first error. And it was somewhat of an embarrassing one. So John Eli is at second with 2 out, 2-0 Dodgers. And the pitch inside under the elbows to Paul. 2-0. It could be that the Brewers will suggest to Prince Fielder to come off the bag. I mean, at 260 pounds, a suggestion is enough. Now the 2-0 pitch to Xavier Paul, fastball low. So Bush is having a devil's own time trying to throw strikes, but should have been out of the inning. Instead, he's trailing 2-0 here in the second inning, going 3-0 to Paul, whom he walked in the first inning, and that cost him a run. 3-0 pitch on the way. Dave Bush ready. Paul looks, breaking ball strike. 3-1 the count. Dodgers lead 2-0. They have one hit, the double by Jamie Carroll. On deck, Matt Kemp. Now the 3-1 pitch on the way. Bush ready and delivers. Fastball. That's in for a strike. And the count 3-2. Bush's fastball in the high 80s. Last night the Dodgers were looking at Doug Davis. His fastball was 82, maybe 83. 3-2 the count to Xavier Paul, trying to pick up John Eli at second base. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Swung on a chopper just fair by the diving fielder. Eli will score, and into second base goes Paul, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. All because of the error by Prince Fielder. The fielder gave them the door, and they have opened it. Prince diving at that ground ball just over the bag and down the line. So little things mean a lot. And Fielder not stretching, making somewhat of a casual attempt to catch a throw, and it's given the Dodgers 2 runs. Now an all-out effort by Prince. He lands heavily on the foul line as the ball goes down into the corner. So all of a sudden, Matt Kemp is the 6th man to come up in the inning, and John Eli is back in the dugout talking to Bob Schaefer. Matt Kemp fly to center in the first inning. Out of a stretch goes Dave Bush. Right-handed deals and flips it in for a strike. 0-1 the count. I was looking at John Eli in the dugout. I don't know if you would have the same thought as you look at him. He makes me think of the actor Matthew McConaughey, doesn't he? A little bit, maybe. 0-1 the count. Bush comes back, big curveball in the dirt, pushed out in front by Greg Zahn. 1-1 the count. So the Dodgers got a gift in the first inning, a walk, a stolen base, and a couple of fly balls. And now the Dodgers get an even bigger break on the error by Fielder, and that's meant 2 more runs. So 3-0 Dodgers, second inning. Bush out of his stretch, Kemp waiting, and the 1-1 pitch on the way off the plate looked like a slider, and they count 2-1. Dave Bush trying to hang in there. Two and one the count. Dave says no to the sign flashed out by Greg Zahn. And now Matt Kemp, tired of waiting, and backs out. The Milwaukee Brewers, back in 1978, they had a grand slam in 3 straight games. Of course, 78's a long time ago, as Greg Zahn goes out to talk to Dave Bush. But they're down 3-0, and they could catch up. When the Milwaukee Braves were in Wisconsin, they had 6 no-hitters in 13 years, all of them in Milwaukee, and they won all 6 despite being no-hitted twice. And you say, how in the world did that happen? Here's the 2-1 pitch coming up to Matt Kemp, and that's a fastball away, ball 3. Well, in a no-hitter, they wound up beating Cincinnati in the 10th inning in 1956. And you may remember the historic game in 1959 when they finally beat Harvey Haddix in the 13th inning. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Matt Kemp. Bush delivers, fastball swung on and missed, 3-2. And the odd note about the Milwaukee Braves, in 1961 the Braves were playing in Cincinnati. They had 4 consecutive home runs in 1 inning. It was the 7th, and they lost the game 10-8. So some interesting notes, the background of Milwaukee, Brewers and Braves. 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4. So Dave Bush needed a friend, didn't have one on the play by Fielder, and he is laboring now. 2 on, 2 outs, second inning, 2 runs in. Dodgers lead 3-0. And Andre Ethier coming up. For Dave Bush, he is getting ready to make his 32nd pitch of the inning, but not before Rick Peterson, their new pitching coach, goes out to the mound to counsel him. So this is one of those hang in there moments, and Peterson puts his right arm on Bush's left shoulder, and like a Dutch uncle, counseling, telling him to hang in. Greg Zahn nodding yes to whatever they're talking about, pitch selection, I'm sure. So he's been laboring 53 pitches, and he's not out of the second inning. Remember, you can see the score with the Dodgers leading 3-0. But if error by Prince Fielder, had he just caught the ball, the Dodgers would not have scored. It would have cut down Bush's pitch number, but instead he's out there working hard. And the right-hander delivers, and the pitch to Ethier ties him up. Swung on and missed. 0-1. Andre hitting .436 at home. 5 of his 9 home runs have been hit here, and 15 of his 26 RBIs. So 2 on, 2 out, 2 in. 3-0 Dodgers. Bush a change on the outside corner. 0-2 the count. Looked like he kind of shot-putted that ball up there. No balls and 2 strikes the count to Andre Ethier. Dave again checking, hiding the ball back of his hip as he bends at the waist. 0-2 the count. Right-hander ready. Here he comes, low and inside. Ball 1. Slider at the shin. 1-2 the count. Ethier with James Loney hitting back of him. Andre walked in the first inning. So you have Xavier Paul, who doubled. He's at second. Matt Kemp, who walked at first with 2 out. Bush straightens up. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Dave delivers, ground ball to Fielder, and he will take it to the bag. A little late, but he got it to the bag. The Dodgers pick up 2, and at the end of 2, Dodgers 3, Brewers nothing. Got 2 big men, and the Dodgers meanwhile leading 3-0 as we go to the 3rd inning. So the Brewers will be relying on Fielder's bat as John Eli ready to work. He'll be facing the pitcher Dave Bush, then Ricky Weeks and Jim Edmonds. Dodgers 3 runs, 2 hits. Brewers no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Bush with the bat is 1 for 6. The other 5 times he struck out. So Dave waiting. Eli into the windup, over the top with a fastball high, ball 1. 1-0 the count. John Eli making his second start for the Dodgers. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Eli signed with the Chicago White Sox only 3 years ago. Fastball hit in the air to left center. Paul and Kemp converge, and it's Kemp making the catch. Well, that was a long fly ball by pitcher Dave Bush. 1 away. And the batter will be Ricky Weeks. So you're looking at some pretty good center field tonight. Jim Edmonds for Milwaukee and Matt Kemp covering a lot of ground. Ricky Weeks flied to left field in the first inning. Ricky 0 for 1. He's been hit by pitch 5 times. He has 8 infield hits. Anytime he hits the ball on the ground, he's a threat. And the first pitch to him in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Went to school at Southern University in Baton Rouge. He and Prince Fielder go back a long ways together. They were 11 years old, teammates on an AAU baseball team. And what are the odds? 2 kids 11 years old not only making it to the major leagues, making it to the same team and playing side by side. Ricky fouls it away. 1-2 the count. Weeks batting .263. He has 4 home runs, 17 runs batted in. He was also teammates of another player who made it to the big leagues. Remember the outfielder Fred Lewis who came up with the Giants? Ground ball to shortstop. Jamie Carroll handles it over to first. So John Eli, leading 3-0, has retired 2 batters in the 3rd inning. And the batter now will be the veteran Jim Edmonds. So Eli coming up 24, Edmonds 39. Jim, left-hand hitter, born in Fullerton, had a marvelous career. Takes low, ball 1. Edmonds is a much stronger version of an Adam Kennedy. Remember Adam Kennedy, the second baseman, who always seemed to drop his shoulder and lift the ball. And Jim does that exceptionally well. This time fouls it off. 1-1. So Jim Edmonds, still a very dangerous hitter. And of course Edmonds during his prime hit as many as 42 home runs. He takes low, 2 balls and 1 strike. So 42 home runs is high. He did that twice. His high in RBIs 111 and 110, and a closet full of Gold Gloves, 8 of them. 2-1 pitch. Edmonds takes low, ball 3. Dodgers lead 3-0, top of the 3rd inning. A rather generous Milwaukee defense giving the Dodgers 2 runs in the 2nd inning. Eli ready. John's 3-1 pitch is a fastball, a towering foul ball upstairs. When you see a hitter like Edmonds and you see him lift the ball all the time, you wonder how in the world can he ground into a double play. Well, he's got 1 so far this year. 3-2 the count to Jim. Eli ready. Young John delivers, swung on and missed. Great changeup, and Edmonds way out in front of it. And at the end of 2.5 innings, Dodgers 3, Brewers 0. John Eli sailing along nicely, allowing just 2 hits. He has now made 27 and 13. That would be 40 pitches in his 3 innings. Hard luck Dave Bush has made 56 in his 2 innings. And for Bush, because of the error by Prince Fielder, he wound up making 35 pitches in the 2nd inning, 16 more after Fielder's error. So that was a huge error, and it gave the Dodgers 2 runs. So Bush trying to hang in there. 1 ball and no strikes. They counted James Loney, whose fly ball to center picked up a run in the 1st inning. Dave Reddy comes back with a fastball. That's whacked to left. Going back is Braun, turns and makes the catch. So Loney, a fly ball to left, 1 away in the 3rd. And Casey Blake coming up. Don't forget the Colorado Rockies will be here starting tomorrow night. Hiroki Kuroda and Esmail Rogers. Saturday night, Julius Chassin and Charlie Hager. And then Sunday, with a roll of drums and a blare of bugles, Ubaldo Jimenez and Clayton Kershaw. Jimenez 6-0, awesome numbers, and of course having thrown a highlight no-hitter already. So young Clayton will have quite a challenge on Sunday. The 1-0 pitch on the way is taken inside, ball 2, 2-0. One of the great pitchers in the National League passed away today, and if you had anything to do with the city of Philadelphia, you would treasure the name and the memory, and that would be Robin Roberts. Pitch in for a strike. Robin Roberts in the Hall of Fame started 609 games in his unbelievable career. Can you imagine? He had 305 complete games, and we're talking about the 50s, not like 1905. Foul ball that's going to go into the stands. Though Blake is still there, 2-2. Robin Roberts also told us and showed us that even though you give up home runs, you can be a successful pitcher. Robin Roberts in his career gave up 506 home runs, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Because I remember when he pitched with the Phillies, the so-called whiz kids, most of the home runs he allowed were with the bases empty. So Robin Roberts at 83 passed away today. 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, and that'll do it for Casey Blake. One of the most exciting pressure-packed games I ever saw. Admittedly younger and more impressionable and emotional, I guess, was Robin Roberts and Don Newcomb in the first playoff game. Ebbets Field, winner goes to the World Series. It was 1-1 into the 10th inning. And I mean, you talk about a pressure-packed game as Martin takes a strike. And a left fielder for Philadelphia named Dick Sisler, left-hand batter, his father George in the Hall of Fame. Dick hit a home run to left field with 2 men aboard. Phillies won that game, went on to the series, and lost in 4 to the Yankees. Martin grounds out. It wouldn't be right to let it get away without putting a spotlight on the name Robin Roberts. At the end at your Toyota dealer today. And by Corona. Dodgers lead the Brewers 3-0 in the fourth inning. A moment ago talking about Robin Roberts, who was a marvelous pitcher. And we mentioned the fact that he's in the Hall of Fame despite the fact setting a record of 506 home runs allowed. Mitch Reinhardt down in the truck comes back to remind me that Jamie Moyer has allowed 498 home runs and is pitching for the Phillies. So Moyer might very well break the mark. Of course, the difference, again, remember, Robin Roberts pitched every fourth day, not every fifth. Robin Roberts started 609 games and completed over 300. I'll say that again. Completed over 300. Unbelievable. Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, and then Casey McGee. Braun singled to left in the first inning, stole second, and stayed there. 3 runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Brewers. Strike with the fastball. Ryan Braun batting .360. He's hitting .485 in his career here. A local boy who has really found a home. 1-1. You talk to ball players and ask them, how can that be? How can you hit so well in one particular ballpark? And the only thing they point out is they just seem to see the ball better in that particular park. Strike. 1-2 to Ryan Braun. Braun is 6'2", a 200-pounder. 27 in November. He graduated from Granada Hills High School. Down he goes. So again, that great off-speed change, and that's the 4th strikeout for John Eli. So Braun goes down, and here is Prince Fielder, who has given his pitcher Dave Bush great grief. And the Dodgers took advantage and scored twice. Prince, ball 1, 1-0. He does not give at the plate at all. Because of that, he's had 7 times hit by a pitch. 1-1. Another changeup. Boy, he is massive, isn't he? Ball 2, 2-1. The Dodgers do not come up with their triangle defense. Jamie Carroll is over to his left, but he's not crossed the line. Blake DeWitt just a foot or so on the grass. That's a strike. 2-2 the count. We're in the 4th inning, and young John Eli has retired 7 in a row since the single by Casey McGee. High pop fly, going out but looking for help is Carroll, and he decides to make the play himself. So 2 down, and McGee coming up. Casey McGee has one of the 2 base hits. He singled up the middle. Ryan Braun singled to left in the first inning, and that's it. John Eli throwing strikes, and he has struck out 4. So McGee hitting .306, 5 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Ball 1. McGee has a daughter, McHale. So you put it together, you have McHale McGee. Will Oman, who was a teammate of his at the time, said just call him Double Mac. He goes the other way, a little dunker to right, but Ethier is there to handle it. So another nice inning turned in by John Eli. 1, 2, 3. That's 9 in a row retired, and he Carroll scored. That extended the inning. Xavier Paul then doubled down the right field line. Dodgers picked up 2. Dave Bush had to make 16 additional pitches following the error, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. So in the bottom of the 4th inning, it'll be Blake DeWitt, Jamie Carroll, John Eli. And ball 1. A little while ago, reminiscing about that great playoff game, Don Newcomb and Robin Roberts. One of the most remarkable things happened in that game. That's going to go foul. The right field wall at Ebbets Field was a concave concrete wall. It had a cyclone fence on top of it. And at the top of the wall, it might have been 5 inches wide, at the most, maybe 4. 4 inches tops, and then the base of the screen. Ball 2. It was 1-0 in favor of Philadelphia in the 7th inning, and Pee Wee Reese came up to hit against Robin Roberts. And Pee Wee hit a high fly ball to right field. And it grazed the screen coming down and landed flush on the concrete ledge. Meanwhile, Blake DeWitt is going to have a long single to left field. And Jamie Carroll will be coming up. Anyway, the ball landed on this 4 or 5 inch wide concrete ledge, bounced high in the air, came back and bounced again, and bounced again, and bounced again, and stopped. And the right fielder, Del Ennis of the Phillies, standing there begging for the ball to come down off the wall. It never did. It just sat there. You couldn't keep that ball up there in a million tries. And it was the tying run. And I mean, the borough of Brooklyn went bananas. So here's Jamie Carroll, double to right in the 2nd inning. And then John Eli on deck. However, in the 9th inning of that game 1-1, the Dodgers had the winning run thrown out at the plate. And then in the 10th inning, lost the game. Carroll 1 for 1, hitting .265. 3 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Brewers. Dave Bush bouncing back from the 2nd inning when he made 35 pitches. Came back in the 3rd inning and made only 9. Up and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Certainly one of the things that Bush has to worry about is another stolen base. Remember, Xavier Paul stole in the first inning, and you would think that the veteran Greg Zahn is somewhat vulnerable to that. So Dave Bush has to really concentrate on holding the runner. Blake DeWitt does not have a stolen base. 1 ball, no strikes. And a strike to balance it up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jamie has done a great job holding the fort at shortstop while they wait for Rafael Furcall's return. Just like Reed Johnson, Xavier Paul, Garrett Anderson have done a good job in left field waiting for Manny to come back. 1-1 the count. So that's what Bush has to do, keep an eye on the runner. And there he goes. It swung on and fouled away. 1-2. So both DeWitt and Carroll look over at Larry Boa to see if there's still a play in the works. Dodgers 3, Brewers nothing, bottom of the 4th inning. Off speed, he waited and waited on the curveball and then plunked it foul down the right field line. It's incorrect, of course, grammatically, but in baseball you wait on a pitch, and he waited on a 67-mile-an-hour curveball. I bet it seemed like forever to get that ball up to the plate. 1-2. Dodgers 3, Brewers nothing, bottom of the 4th. Then he works low and inside. 2-2 the count. 3 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Brewers. We're in the 4th. Brewers are trying to do something they have never done in franchise history. Sweep a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. And a 1-hopper to short. Escobar to Weeks, who turns it for the double play. So 6-4-3. Ricky had to worry about DeWitt coming right in at him, but he was able to make the turn and get his man. So Carroll grounds into the double play, and John Eli coming up. There's Weeks backing away. There are all kinds of ways to play second base, and one way is to take the throw and back off and use the bag almost like a defensive wall against the runner. Week was able to turn it reasonably easy. So Blake DeWitt gave it his best shot, but never could come close to breaking up the double play. 1-1 to Eli. And of course, one second baseman will never take umbrage when another second baseman tries to take him out. I mean, they both understand. When some big outfielder tries to knock a second baseman into the outfield, yeah, a lot of times they get miffed at that, but not another fellow second baseman. And they also know if you're another second baseman, they can get their licks in at you too. Fastball, down goes Eli. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left, and at the end of 4, 3-0 Dodgers. and by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. We have arrived at the fifth inning on a beautiful evening here in Southern California. Temperature 68 degrees when the game started. In the fifth inning, Greg Zaun, Corey Hart, and Alcides Escobar. John Eli has made only 52 pitches in 4 innings, and the huge difference between Eli and Bush is the fact that Eli, in 52 pitches, has only missed the strike zone 16 times. Bush has made 80 pitches, and Dave started off very wobbly, behind on almost every hitter. He made 56 pitches in the first 2 innings, but he settled down. So here we go in the fifth inning. Greg Zaun, the switch hitting catcher, flied to left field in the second inning. His uncle, Rick Dempsey, who was a fine catcher, and Rick, of course, was on the championship club here in 1988. And Greg apparently has followed in the footsteps of Rick in the sense he is funny and a great team guy as well as a good player. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rick Dempsey was a showman as well as a ball player, and Greg was pretty much the same way. That's in there. John Eli, young man out of Illinois, on the south side of Chicago. And of course, the south side means the White Sox, and that's going to do it for Zaun. 1 away. North side Cubs, south side White Sox. Check swing, pitch in there anyway, and he's rung up by Tim Timmons. So here's Corey Hart, who fouled out. That would be the 5th strikeout for John Eli, who is really now on a tear. He's retired 10 in a row. He has struck out 3 of the 10 during this sequence. Corey Hart fouled out, 0 for 1. 6'6" right fielder, brings up a very inviting strike zone. People in Milwaukee look at his size and immediately think of Richie Sexson. 2-1 to Corey. Little Nubbard halfway to the mound. Eli gets his man. You know, you can join the Dodgers tomorrow for 60s night, and the first 20,000 fans in attendance take home a Dodger coach's poster reminiscent of the days of the Rat Pack. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS today. Here's the shortstop, Alcides Escobar. Eli's retired 11 in a row, and ball 1. Escobar hitting .250. We were talking about the fact that in spring training a couple of years ago, J.J. Hardy didn't know his name, didn't even know what position he played, but liked the kid and gave him all kinds of his equipment. A drive to left field. Xavier Paul makes a sliding circus catch. Oh, what a play by Xavier. And Escobar robbed of an extra base hit. So that's 12 in a row retired by John Eli thanks to that play by Paul. And at the end of 4. and nailed him. Then went after the big guy, Prince Fielder, and struck him out. Then Jim Edmonds again, followed by Ryan Braun, and number 5, Greg Zaun. So John has retired 12 in a row. He's made 63 pitches, and it's interesting, 12 of the 15 outs have been on at-bats of 4 or less pitches. So the Brewers are up there hacking, and he's throwing strikes. Xavier Paul made that brilliant catch like that of the ball hit by Escobar. And now, as so often happens after a brilliant defensive play, the same man leads off the inning. That's going to be foul out of play. 0-2 the count to Xavier Paul. Walk, stole a base. 2 fly balls cashed him in the first inning. And then in the second inning, doubled inside first down the line to cash in Jamie Carroll. And then he scored on the error by Prince Fielder. Oh and 2. 1-2. Dodgers 3, Brewers nothing. Bottom of the 5th. Little ground ball to Fielder. He will take it over himself. 1 away. So except for the error by Fielder and then the 2 unearned runs in the second inning, this would be a very tough 1-0 game. And the batter is Matt Kemp. Kemp flied to center and walked. 0 for 1. Matt batting .292. 0-1. Andre Ethier on deck. And that's a strike. 0-2, little high slider. So Kemp first saw a changeup, then he saw a slider, then he saw a fastball, and down he goes.
Andre Ethier.
So Andre Ethier coming up. 3rd strikeout for Dave Bush. And with 2 out, Ethier walked and grounded out. Three runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Brewers. Ethier enjoying a good homestand. And, of course, the Dodgers hope he'll continue to swing that bat right on through the weekend. Colorado will be here starting Friday night as Jim Tracy brings the Rockies here. 0-1 the count. Foul ball. Colorado in 12 innings knocked off San Diego. So the Rockies are in 3rd place, 3 games back of the Padres. They got here early today. I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Tracy and his coaches are maybe somewhere in the ballpark. 0-2 the count to Andre Ethier. On deck, James Loney. Pulls up on a breaking ball. No swing call by Alfonso Marquez, who's on the 3rd baseline. 1-2 to Andre. 9 home runs, 26 RBIs. and overall batting .362. Ethier started the night leading the league in hitting at .366. Low and away. 2-2. Not only did he lead the league in batting average, he also was leading the league in RBIs with 26 and slugging percentage almost 700. Off speed, hit up the middle, base hit. Looked like a very slow hanging curveball, and Ethier just poked it to center. So he's 1 for 2, and the batter will be James Loney. He just went down and got it, but it wasn't really hanging. It was just in the 60s. Big stride, and then fully extends, gets just enough of it to single to center. For the Dodgers, their 4th hit, and here's Loney scoring fly ball and fly to left. So James 0 for 1, hitting .336 with 2 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Loney 2 for 3 with 2 walks last night, so he's up there with the top hitters in batting average, in hits, doubles, average at home, multi-hit games, and he's driven in a run not only in the first inning but in 6 straight games. 0-1. Way out in front of that. 0-2. That was a 70-mile-an-hour curveball. Ethier hit one in the 60s. Bush throws a little bit harder than Doug Davis. I think the gun said about 88. Davis was throwing fastballs at 83. 0-2. But again, it's not the speedometer. It's the movement on the ball. 0-2. Shows him a fastball and sets him down. 88 on the gun. And at the end of 5, 3-0 Dodgers. Willie Mays. He turned 79 years old today. He was born back in 1931, 16 years after the Babe hit his first one. Kind of a nice coupling. Let's go back to this one. Boy, great names in baseball, names that will never die. Babe Ruth, Willie Mays. Joe Inglet is going to come off the bench, and Joe will bat for Dave Bush. Inglet singled to right field in the 9th inning of the first game, so Dave Bush would not be coming out except for the error by Fielder, which really turned the game completely around. He'd be losing 1-0 instead of 3-0. So here's Inglet, and ball one, 1-0. So Inglet will lead it off. He's out of Sacramento, went to the University of Nevada, Reno, and was originally signed by the Indians 10 years ago. And ball two, 2-1. Interesting, 4 years ago he made his major league debut when he went in for defensive purposes to replace Ronnie Belliard, who is sitting in the Dodger dugout watching Joe right now. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. So Ronnie, I'm sure, remembers that day. Joe Inglet paid his dues. He finally got to the big leagues after more than 6 years and 583 minor league games, but down he goes. So that's a half a dozen strikeouts.
Second baseman Ricky Weeks.
For John Eli, and Ricky Weeks coming up. Also, John Eli has retired 13 in a row. Ricky Weeks flied to left, grounded to short, 0 for 2. Down in the bullpen for Milwaukee, former Dodger Claudio Vargas begins to loosen up. Weeks batting .261. Ball one. So Eli is really on a roll now. 13 in a row. And a strike inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Brewers were red hot against the Dodger pitching of Kershaw and Billingsley et al. In fact, in the first game, with runners in scoring position, the Brewers were 6 for 16 and had 9 RBIs. In the second game, with runners in scoring position, they were 8 for 18 and 10 runs batted in. A bouncer right to where DeWitt is. Like real estate, location, location, location. 2 down. 14 in a row retired now by John Eli. And the batter will be Jim Edmonds. Tonight, they've only had 1 opportunity. And that was when Braun stole second with 2 out in the first inning. And Prince Fielder struck out. So they're 0 for 1. That's a strike to Edmonds. Jim went down in the first inning and again in the third on strikeouts. Eli throwing hard enough. He hits 90 on the gun. John at 6'1", 195. And ball two. 3-0 Dodgers. We're in the 6th inning. 2 out. 14 in a row retired by young John. And now behind 3-1. He has not walked anybody. He's right on the edge here. He's allowed just 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. Fouled away, 3-2. As usual, Edmonds hitting the ball up in the air. Three and two to Jim. when the Dodgers come up in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Casey Blake, Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt. Milwaukee has done a little bit better on the road than they have at home. They're 8-7 on the road. They are 4-8 in Milwaukee. Another foul in the air way back. Still 3-2. Of course, the club that is downright dynamite on the road this year, Tampa Bay. The Devil Rays are 11-1 on the road. And he strikes out Edmonds 3 times tonight. He now has 7 strikeouts. He's retired 15 in a row, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. On the bag, all he had to do is back off into foul ground and make an easy catch, or just kind of lean. At 260, you certainly figure that John Ely was not about to have a collision with him. But so far, that's the big play. The Dodgers scored 2 runs on that play because of it. It made Dave Bush pitch an additional 16 pitches in the inning. And the Dodgers lead 3-0. And Claudio Vargas will now come in and pick up. Vargas with a record of 1-0. He was with the Dodgers last year, but you had to look quick. He was only pitched 11 innings for the Dodgers and then moved on to the Brewers. For Claudio, he is certainly accustomed to crowds. He's the youngest of 12 children. And a strike to Casey Blake. Casey has popped up, struck out. Vargas has 7 sisters and 4 brothers. Claudio 6'3", 225. He will be 31 on the 19th of May. From the Dominican Republic. And I love the name of his agent, and this is a very successful agent, I'm sure, because we've seen the name a lot. His agent's name is Bean, B-E-A-N, Stringfellow. Sounds like a character in a Dickens novel. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2, 2-1. Casey hitting .253, 3 home runs. 16 runs batted in. And that's ball 3. Vargas was converted from an outfielder to the pitcher's mound when he was 15 years old. And it was his Little League coach who called a Marlin scout and told him to check out this little kid I have. And here's that little kid, now 6'3", 225, pitching in the big leagues. So Blake at first on the walk. And tonight's trivia question, give you something to think about. Milwaukee's Trevor Hoffman, the first ever to get 500 saves. Now it's 596. Which ex-Brewer was the first with 300 saves? I'll give you the answer in a little while. Russell Martin, fly to center, grounded to third, 0 for 2. There goes Blake, hit and run with Martin, and he fouls it off. 0-1 the count. Martin again checking with Larry Boa, so is Blake, to see if they're going to put the play back on. With Vargas, he's basically fastball, curveball, and change. Russell hitting .244, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Will they come right back with it? Let's see. Nope. And 1 ball, 1 strike. Someone there might be a sign. If it were 2-1, you'd be sure they'd put it on. 1-1, let's see. Nope. Now, since they put it on the first pitch, this is the manager's count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Dave Bush walked 2. Vargas has walked 1. John Eli for the Dodgers has not walked anybody. And time as Vargas tying the laces on his right shoe. All right, 2 balls and 1 strike. You got to figure that Blake will be going. 3-0 Dodgers, 6th inning. And so does Vargas. Wouldn't you like to see Jonathan Broxton be a runner at first base held on by Prince Fielder? Two and one. And of course, what Vargas is trying to do is to make Casey Blake tire a bit. You know, the runners like to be up on their toes. So if you hold the ball, you hope that eventually they'll drop down to their heels, be flat-footed before they go. Not that Casey is a great base stealing threat, but 2 and 1, chances are he's going to go. Yep, there he goes. Ground ball into right field, a perfectly executed hit and run. So just like that, first and third, nobody out. You could know that Joe would do that, but it didn't take really a rocket scientist to figure. Most managers 2 and 1, they love that count to play hit and run if they have a good combination. So Martin is basically a contact hitter, goes the other way. Blake is at third, nobody out. DeWitt, Carroll, and the pitcher Eli coming up, with the Dodgers trying to add to a 3-0 lead and snap a little 2-game losing streak. DeWitt grounded to first and single to left. He's had a 4-for-4 game during this homestand, so that's helped his average at home. 450 during the stand and 300 for the year. Vargas last year held left-hand hitters to a .203 average, 1 home run. And right-handers hit .159 against him with 2 home runs. But that was last year. Strike. Claudio and Greg Zahn put their heads together. Vargas was a traveling man last year. He was with the Dodgers. Then he went to the Brewers. Then he went to the Inland Empire to work out some problems. And he finished up last year in Albuquerque. And now back with the Brewers. 0-1. Among the other problems, they have to worry about Martin trying to run over there at first. 1 ball and 1 strike. Martin 1 for 1 in stolen bases. Blake DeWitt has walked 12 times and struck out 10. 3-0 Dodgers, bottom of the 6th inning. First and third, nobody out. And they were thinking about Martin going. 1-1 the count. Blake over at third. And both DeWitt and Martin looking at Larry Boa, who then says something to Casey Blake. One ball, 1 strike. And ball 2. So Vargas really slowing things down. Ken Maka made the move, lifting Dave Bush, who was victimized, otherwise pitched very well. Two and one, and again Boa saying something to Casey Blake, going through the motions in the box. So we'll watch and see what Martin does. 2-1. He does not go on ball 3. So 3-1 to Blake DeWitt. On deck, Jamie Carroll. Martin held on by Fielder. Blake down the line from third. And Vargas really taking his time. So DeWitt backs out. Vargas pitched briefly Tuesday night. And now let's see. Now Zahn goes out. Vargas Tuesday night worked the 7th inning and retired DeWitt, Carroll, and the pinch hitter Xavier Paul in order. So Maka brings him in tonight, but he is struggling. A walk to Blake, a single to Martin, and he's 3-1 to Blake DeWitt. Martin's not going on ball 4. So the Dodgers have loaded the bases, nobody out. Jamie Carroll coming up, and John Eli out on deck. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Brewers. Prince Fielder's up on the edge. Casey McGee is up, and that's ball one. So Vargas really struggling with the bases loaded, nobody out. Carroll checking with Boa. You have Blake at third, Martin at second, DeWitt at first. So far, Vargas has made 15 pitches. One and 0. Foul that fastball away. For the record, Jamie Carroll has 1 grand slam. He hit it 3 years ago against the Cubs. Long look to Boa, who then goes over to talk to Casey Blake. Blake at third, Martin at second, DeWitt at first, nobody out. 3-0 Dodgers, bottom of the 6th. Fouled away, 1 and 2. In looking at Vargas and what he has done, he is 1 and 0. High ERA, especially for a relief pitcher, over 6. But he has struck out 11, and he has walked 4. One and 2 the count to Jamie Carroll. Carroll 2 for 6 in the past against Vargas. One and 2. Two and 2. Vargas in relief of Dave Bush. He throws much harder to Bush. He's been clocked in the high 90s. 2 and 2. Fastball hit foul down the right field line, and the count stays 2 and 2. Don't forget the Colorado Rockies here tomorrow night. Esmil Rogers and Hiroki Kuroda. Then it's Yolis Chacin against Charlie Hager. And then Sunday afternoon, Ubaldo Jimenez, who is not only 6 and 0, his earned run average is 0.8. He'll go up against Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers then go on the road to Arizona and San Diego. 2 and 2 to Jamie Carroll. Big bouncer to third. McGee takes dead aim to Zahn. No other play. So a forced play at the plate. Everybody moves up 90 feet. And John Eli will be coming up. So Blake out at the plate. Martin advances to third. DeWitt goes to second. So John Eli back in the second inning. Eli scored on the double by Xavier Paul. Now he's a young pitcher. He's been pitching professionally since 2007. And when Eli scored in the second inning, it was the first run that he has scored professionally in any league, any division, for any team. So now, 1 out, bases loaded, still 3-0 Dodgers. Remember, we told you that Eli couldn't bunt at all in his major league debut. In fact, they were worried about him that he'd get hurt. So as soon as they came off the road from that trip that saw them in Cincinnati, Washington, and New York, they turned him over to Maury Wills. Don Mattingly watching anxiously through the wires, and Eli checking with Boa. Martin down the line. But the way he bunted, you would really doubt he would try to squeeze. But we'll see. 0 and 2. Eli struck out his last at bat. Waiting on deck, Xavier Paul. 3-0 Dodgers. Bases loaded, 1 out, 6th inning. Lunged at a pitch and misses. That'll be that for Eli. So Vargas is taking his own sweet time and slowly but surely getting away with it. He gave up a walk, a single, another walk. Dodgers had the bases loaded, nobody out. Carroll hits into a force play at the plate. Eli strikes out. And now here is Xavier Paul. Paul walked and scored a run in the first inning, doubled to right in the second, and grounded out in the 5th. By the way, the big boys come up for the Brewers in the 7th inning. That's Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, and Casey McGee. Paul made a wonderful diving, sliding catch of the ball hit by Escobar in the 5th inning. And a strike. Paul runs well, the infield well back. 2 out, bases loaded, 3-0 Dodgers, 6th inning. Paul hitting .250. Oh and 1. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Claudio Vargas working on Xavier Paul. Vargas backed up in the bullpen by Jeff Suppan. One and 1. Ball 2. Vargas very much a slow worker, obviously. A little tough for the players behind him to be on their toes, but he's got to work very carefully here. 2-1 the count to Xavier Paul. Matt Kemp on deck. Two and 2. Boy, he takes his time, doesn't he? Man, it worked. There are times when it's like watching paint dry. And with it all, he strikes out a couple. The out recorded at first. Fielder stretching for that one. And the Dodgers blow a big chance as Vargas shuts him down. And at the end of 6, 3-0 Dodgers. McGee. They came up back-to-back in the 4th inning. Braun struck out, Fielder popped up, and McGee flied to right. Earlier, Braun singled and Fielder struck out. So they are 2 for 6 amongst them. And John Eli, who's been brilliant, he's retired the last 15 in a row while striking out 7. And John gone to work now in the 7th inning. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Brewers. Braun singled in the 1st inning, McGee singled in the 2nd inning, and that's been it. So 15 in a row, 7 strikeouts. And here's Braun, 1 for 2, hitting .357. Ball 1. Ryan constantly blowing on his batting gloves to get a little moisture to increase the strength of his grip. And ball 2. So Braun takes some time blowing on the gloves and fussing with the Velcro. 2-0 to Ryan. That's a strike. Braun stole his 7th base in the 1st inning. He's 7 for 7. Fastball under 90. 2-2. Eli had made 80 pitches through the first 6 innings. And he just did get a little bit of a 90-mile-an-hour fastball that was in a great location. But like all good hitters, he just fought it off. And Ryan is still there, 2-2. So Braun certainly making John Eli work. Ryan, not only a very good baseball player, of course, but when he was much younger, a freshman in high school, he was a star soccer player. Little ground ball to short. Nice hop for Carroll. 1 away. So Braun taps out, and the batter is Prince Fielder. Fielder struck out, popped up, 0 for 2. And of course his error has become huge as the game has gone along into the 7th inning. Prince hitting .240. Big curveball for a strike. Fielder came in here and they told us that his left hand, he had a severe bruise, the heel of the left hand, and he was having trouble. One reason why he was hitting in the 230s and had 2 home runs. However, as so often happens, his second at bat in the series, he came up with a man on. We talked about the sore left hand. You got it. Home run. 2-1. Of course, everybody likes to pitch him inside so he can't extend the arms. And because of that, he's been hit by pitch 7 times. Ground ball. 5. Wow, it looks like a bowling alley over there with Loney going one way and DeWitt going the other. So Prince Fielder found 2 holes just under Loney's glove, just under DeWitt's glove. One dive, the other ball with English on it, and it went the other way from DeWitt. So that breaks the streak after 16 in a row. Fielder gets a base hit, and the batter is Casey McGee. Single to center, fly to right, 1 for 2. Fouled away. 0-1 to Casey. Well put together, 6'1", about 200 pounds. He's the boy we talked about last night. He was playing for the Iowa Cubs against Salt Lake. And after the game, he was married in the Cub Club restaurant in the ballpark in Des Moines. Right, 0-2. As his wife, Sarah, said, it wasn't exactly the kind of wedding I had planned when I was a little girl, but it seemed to make the most sense. 0-2. Ball one. McKee had arthroscopic surgery on his right knee last year. Just misses an extra base hit. And a foul ball, 1-2 the count. There's also a lesion in his right knee that causes bone fragments to break away periodically. So he could have opted for a more extensive surgery to remove the lesion, but he didn't want to miss a lot of 2010. So he is playing on a bum wheel. 1-2. Little ground ball. Charging Carroll could get him. Down to second base goes Fielder. Fielder is only the second man to get to second base tonight against Eli. The other was Braun, who singled and stole second way back in the first inning. So Eli has been tremendous. And here's Greg Zaun, flied to left, struck out. The veteran catcher hitting .250. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Ronald Belisario begins to loosen up. Eli had made 80 pitches in the first 6 innings. He is right now had made 97 pitches. It's been a tremendous uplifting performance for young John. Foul ball, 1-1. Eli hoping to celebrate his birthday tonight. His birthday is the 13th. 1-1. He'll be 24. Drops that big 12-6 curveball. That looked like something out of Clayton Kershaw's book. Watch this thing. Up there. Hello. 1-2 to Greg Zaun. And Kershaw, along with Chad Billingsley, watching yet another 24-year-old. That's fouled away. Still 1-2. Billingsley's 25. Kershaw is 22. The kitty core, I guess they'll call it. Now he's made exactly 100 pitches. Almost 2-1 strikes to balls. 1-2. 2-2. He has turned in a tremendous performance. Not only 7 strikeouts, no walks. Here's a kid pitching professionally only since 2007. Foul ball. Fastball on the hands at 87. He's pitched for Great Falls and Winston-Salem, Birmingham, Albuquerque, and the Dodgers. Fielder at second with 2 out. Zaun hacking away, and the count stays 2-2. On deck, Corey Hart. Greg Zahn, born in Glendale, went to St. Francis High School in Glendale. His mom was the women's golf coach at USC. So there you have Eli, who's hardly played at all professionally, battling Zahn. Greg Zahn is 39. He signed his first contract in 1989. Eli was 3 years old. 2-2. Squirted foul. Hit that curveball right off the end of the bat. 70 mile an hour, and he just couldn't wait for it. So Greg comes back. Zahn's highs offensively, well, he had 12 home runs for the Blue Jays 4 years ago. 61 RBIs for the Blue Jays 5 years ago. 2-2. Another foul ball right into the Milwaukee dugout. Zahn, 1 home run. He hit it here. 10 runs batted in. Hit it the other night. So Fielder at second with 2 out. 3-0 Dodgers. 7th inning. High fastball. That hit 90 on the gun. So 3-2 the count. And that's going to be flared into center. So here comes Fielder. And that makes it 3-1 in favor of the Dodgers. It was a modest thing in Zinon, but Greg Zahn knows it's not fishing. You don't throw the little ones back. But he has hooked John Eli, and Joe is coming out. So Zahn gets a little dunker to center, base hit, run batted in. The ball player's answer, of course, it looks like a line drive in the box score. And by the way, that was quite an at-bat for Greg Zahn. That was a 12-pitch at-bat for the Milwaukee catcher, and young John Eli gets a standing ovation as he walks off, leading 3-1. He made one. John Eli in the dugout after having made 108 pitches, but 7 strikeouts, and it all began with Jim Edmonds in the first inning. And he picked on Edmonds 3 times, but that was the first. Then he got Prince Fielder, Then he moved along to get Edmonds a second time. Then he got Ryan Braun, finished off Zahn, moved right along to strike out England, then got Edmonds for the third time to give him 7, and finally leaves with a standing ovation, leading 3-1. Big at bat against the veteran Greg Zahn. Zahn won it, a 12-pitch at bat, and a single is sounded to drive in the run. So here's Belisario on a strike to Corey Hart. Belisario wobbly last night, but right back into the fire. ERA over 8. Oh, 1 to Corey Hart. All the way to the backstop. So Zahn now moves to second on the wild pitch. Belisario was really rounding into form until the bad outing last night. Now he comes in with the wild pitch. Last night, by the way, remember, he made 31 pitches. That was his first wild pitch. Down in the bullpen, Hong-Chi Kuo begins to throw back of him. Corey Hart fouled to third, hit back to the box, 0 for 2, hitting .260. Check swing for a strike. Belisario had only faced one Brewer coming into this series. That was Jody Garrett, who had a base hit against him. Last night he didn't see Hart. 2-2. Hart did not start last night. Corey appeared as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning and doubled the left field. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 3-1 Dodgers. 7th inning. And ball 3. Waiting on deck, Escobar. So Rick Honeycutt sweating him out a little. Belisario from Maracay in Venezuela. Got it. So Hart strikes out to end the inning. A man left at second. And for John Eli, he's holding on to a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Crowd asked to stand for God Bless America and then take me out to the ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome back to the field, Michael McGuire.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Michael McGuire.
8th inning. So Jeff Supon, a local boy, graduated from Crespi Carmelite High School, born in Oklahoma City. Jeff's been struggling and trying to come back with the good touch. He'll be greeted by Matt Kemp. Ball one. Three runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Brewers. That's a strike. For Matt Kemp, fly to center, walk, struck out. Supon, certainly big enough to pitch in the big league. 6'2", about 230. 1-1. Looked like he shot-putted that pitch. A change, really. It was a curveball that didn't break. 2-1. And comes back with a fastball at 87. 2-2 the count. Matt 0 for 2. So he's been struggling with the bat of late. And ball 3. So it's been Bush, Vargas, and now Supon. Three and 2. Now back. Kemp 7 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Neither column has changed now for quite a while. Even though during this homestand he's hitting .304, no RBIs, does have 2 doubles. He goes. So we have 1 out. Kemp strikes out a second time tonight. You know, this Mother's Day gets a gift of Dodger baseball with a ticket to my town. Fans receive a free Dodger Town Mother's T-shirt, all-inclusive food options, and $2 from each ticket will be donated to Think Cure. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/mytown or call 866-DODGERS. Mother's Day, Sunday. Ethier has walked, grounded to first, single to center. Ground ball, foul. Boy, did that thing go down in a hurry. 0-1 the count. James Loney on deck. When the Brewers come up in the 8th inning, they'll have their shortstop, Escobar, then their right fielder, Jody Garrett, and then the second baseman, Ricky Weeks. Oh, and 1 to Andre Ethier. 1-1. Two and 1. Supon has donated $100,000 annually to Brewer charities. He also donated $20,000 to the Milwaukee County Parks Department. And he does a lot of other charitable things. That's lifted into shallow left field. Trotting in and waiting is Ryan Braun. 2 down. Another thing that Jeff is involved in, he has partnered with the Brewers. They created what they call Soup's Troops. They're seats at Miller Park, 4 camouflage seats, which are donated to active members of the military for every game. I think he still owns and operates a restaurant in Woodland Hill called Soup's Grill. So 2 out, and here's Loney. Ball 1. Loney is scoring fly ball in the first inning to deep center. Fly to left in the third. Struck out in the fifth. Slow breaking ball drops in nicely. 1-1. Two out, 7th inning, 3-1 Dodgers. Dodgers scored a run in the first inning. Xavier Paul walked, stole second, and 2 fly balls moved him around. They scored 2 more on a 2-out huge error by Prince Fielder that gave the Dodgers the additional 2 to make it 3-0. The Brewers have gotten 1 back in the 7th inning. Escobar, Garrett, and Weeks due up in the 8th, and if anybody gets on, Jim Edmonds. Two balls and 2 strikes to James Loney. And a little roller. Weeks is on it, makes the play. A 1-2-3 inning in the 7th. So we go to the 8th with the Dodgers 3, Brewers 1. Escobar, Garrett, and Suter and Goose Gossage. Hung-Chi Kuo getting ready to pitch to Alcides Escobar, Jody Garrett, and Ricky Weeks. Garrett is 0 for 3 against him, and he has not faced Weeks or Escobar. Down in the bullpen, Jonathan Broxton begins to loosen up. One of the true surprises when you think about it, this for the Dodgers will be their 28th game. And in 28 games, Jonathan Broxton has 1 save. 1. Escobar hit into a force play and was robbed of an extra base hit on a great sliding catch by Xavier Paul in left field. Oh, and 2. The Hung Chi Kuo picking up for Belisario. Foul ball. I'm looking back at Escobar's record. One year in Huntsville in the low minors, he had 8 home runs, but otherwise 1 here, 2 there. And yet, like all the kids playing today, look where his hands are. They are right down at the barrel of the bat. They just don't choke up anymore. Little pop fly. Blake DeWitt. 1 away.
How batting right fielder number 22, Jody Garrett.
Jody Garrett, a late arrival in the ballgame, checking in. Remember, in that double switch, Suppan went into hard spot, and Garrett bats 9th. Garrett hitting just 138. That's a strike. He has appeared in only 20 games, starting 3. He has just 1 hit in his last 17 at-bats. The end of April, he had a pinch hit home run against Pittsburgh, the first of his career. 0-2 to Jody. Last year he was with San Diego, then moved to Milwaukee. Wound up hitting .230 with 9 home runs. Spells Garrett, G-E-R-U-T. Jody was a second-round pick by the Rockies. Went to school at Stanford. Breaking ball away, little slider. 1-2. So Hung Chi Kuo, 0-1 in his 5th game. Remember, he had arm trouble. He's always had arm trouble, unfortunately for him. Fastball. Jody just did get a piece of it. Garrett, an Illinois boy, lives in Lombard, Illinois. One and two. Down he goes. So Hung Chi Kuo picks up a strikeout. That's certainly not news, because he hasn't pitched much. He has 3 strikeouts now, 1 walk. And with 2 down, that'll bring up Ricky Weeks. Weeks has flied to left, grounded to short, grounded to second. He went 0 for 3 against John Eli. Ricky, 4 home runs, 17 runs batted in. On deck, Jim Edmonds, who has had a very tough night. Edmonds against John Eli, not only 0 for 3, but all 3 strikeouts. Three to 1 Dodgers, 8th inning, 0-1 to Weeks, with 2 out, bases empty. That runs the count 0-2. So Kuo with a good, quick, biting slider. 0-2. And he mows him down, comes right back with another slider to finish him off. So Hung Chi Kuo comes in, strikes out 2, and at the end of 7 1/2, 3-1 Dodgers. inning, 2 in the second inning to make it 3-0. The Brewers pushed across a run in the 7th. And here we are in the bottom of the 8th. Jeff Suppan ready to pitch to Casey Blake. Ball 1. Rather impressive brief performance by Hung-Chi Kuo. He made 12 pitches, 11 strikes, and struck out 2 and got the other to pop up. Wow. 2-0 the count to Casey Blake. Popped up, struck out, and walked today. Casey, 3 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Colorado will be here tomorrow night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Ball 3. Suppan set the Dodgers down in order in the 7th inning, taking care of Kemp, Ethier, and Loney. Three and 1. And he walked him. So now Russell Martin will be coming up.
Dodger catcher Russell Martin.
Martin has flied to center, grounded to third, and had a perfectly executed hit and run single to right field in the 6th inning. Russell checking with Larry Boa. Played hit and run in the 6th inning after Casey Blake walked, and it paid off. So we'll see if they try it again. McGee up on the grass at third. Blake's not going on ball 1. Well, they had Blake going on a 2-1 count in the 6th inning. Jeff Suppan knows the feeling of standing on top of the mountain. Jeff was the MVP of the 2006 League Championship Series for the Cardinals. He worked 15 innings, allowed 1 earned run against the New York Mets. Jim Edmonds was his teammate then, too. And if you remember, the Cardinals would go on to beat Detroit in the World Series. 1-0 the count. There goes Blake. Hit and run foul ball this time. 1-1. Well, the last time they did exactly that. Then on a 1-1 pitch, Casey was not going, and that was ball 2. And then on a 2-1 count, they ran Casey, and Martin singled. One and 1. Blake is going again, and it's pulled on the ground to third. They get 1, they get 2. Wow. So Martin really drills it. Not going the other way this time, and ground sharply into a double play. Ball hit crisply and right at McGee, down to Weeks, and even though Blake is there, Ricky gets the ball to fielder. So 2 down, 8th inning, and the batter is Blake DeWitt. Grounded to first, single to left, and walked. Strike. Jonathan Broxton is getting ready to pitch the 9th inning. And for the Brewers, it'll be Jim Edmonds, who has struck out all 3 times. Ryan Braun, who has 1 single in 3 trips and struck out once. And Cecil Fielder, son, Prince Fielder, who is 1 for 3 and struck out once. So they'll be facing Broxton. 1-1. And a high fly ball into right center. Back goes Edmonds. That'll be that. So we're heading for the ninth with the Dodgers leading 3-1 and Broxton getting ready to come in. On the mound, John with one save. Dodgers haven't given many opportunities. So he'll be facing Edmonds, Braun, and Fielder. Edmonds is 1 for 4 in the past against Broxton. Braun is 1 for 3, a home run against him. And Fielder is 2 for 5 in the past against Broxton. So here we go in the ninth, 3-1 Dodgers. Edmonds has struck out all 3 times against John Eli. 0-1. Edmonds came into the game with 61 at-bats, and he had struck out 16 times, so now he's gone down 19. 39 years old, trying to catch up to those 95 fastballs. Off the plate, 1-1. Broxton has allowed just 5 base runners in 8 2/3 scoreless innings. So he's not accustomed to pitching out of the stretch much, for sure. Picked up his only save the 18th of April. Inside with the slider. 2-1. Big John, a new daddy. 2-1 the count. Fouled away. 2-2. For Edmonds, he's stuck on 2. He's just checking with a plate umpire. Did I swing at a strike? And then he said, I just missed it. So I guess he felt he got a pretty good pitch to handle. Couldn't connect. 2-2 to Edmonds. Russell Martin has been handling Broxton for 6 years, since their days in Vero Beach. 2-2. 3-2. With Broxton, you'll get fastballs, slider, pretty good curveball, and a change. 4 years ago, he added a splitter. 3-2. Fouled away. So Edman fights off a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and Jim is still there. 3-2. Waiting his turn on Ryan Braun, as he always does, blowing on his gloves, get a little moisture, get a better grip. Breaking ball, strike 3 call. A slider. Edmonds was on his way to first base. Though I'm sure it's not the first time in his great career that he has struck out 4 times. And as he turned and walked away, he just said, wow. So he thought it was ball 4. He doesn't argue, but you can tell by his body language he thought it was ball 4. So 1 out, and the batter is Ryan Braun. Braun is 1 for 3. Fouled away. For Jim Edmonds, by the way, down in the dugout, during his long career, how many games, how many at-bats, this would be the 11th time in his entire career that he has struck out 4 times in a game. And in his heart, I'm sure he thinks that was ball 4. So 0-1 to Braun. 3-1 Dodgers, 9th inning. That's a strike. So Quo and Broxton are really putting it to the Milwaukee hitters. Quo made 12 pitches, 11 strikes. And Broxton comes in, strikes out Edmonds, and now has Braun 0-2. One and two. High fastball, about 96. At the plate, so Ryan is still there. Just did get a little bit of the slider at 85. Boy, that's something. You're looking at a fastball at 96 and a slider at 85. 1-2 the count. On deck, Prince Fielder. So of course this is a big at bat for Braun. 1-2. Ground ball, base hit, so the door is open. Ryan Braun goes 2 for 4 with a single to center. And now Prince Fielder comes up with a chance, of course, to get the Brewers even with 1 swing. Despite the sore hand, he is still an awesome sight up there at the plate. Just 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Last year, just to refresh your memory, 46 home runs and 141 runs batted in. 1 out. And line down the right field line, foul ball. The fielder drills it, but foul. Fielder 2 for 5 in the past against Broxton. And Ryan Braun back to first. 1 out. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 5 hits for the Brewers. and the fielder had caught the thrown ball by Casey McGee back in the second inning, we'd be 1-1. Fastball away. 1-1. That's hit into right field, base hit, and Ethier has to go and get it. So Braun keeps going to third. The fielder goes 2 for 4, and suddenly with 1 out in the ninth inning, Milwaukee has the tying runs aboard with Casey McGee coming up. So for Broxton, who might be rusty a little bit from inactivity, and fielder grounds 1 into right field. Ethier had to go a great distance to get to it, so Braun easily went to third. So here's McGee, single to center, fly to right, grounded to short. McGee has never faced Jonathan Broxton. 1 out, ninth inning. And the fastball is low, ball 1. So Rick Honeycutt, the Dodger pitching coach, sweating out Broxton a little bit. Belisario faced 1 batter. Corey Hart struck him out. Quo faced 3 batters and struck out 2 of the 3. And that's lifted to center. Tagging up is Braun. Matt Kemp for the catch. And he'll throw it into second base. In fact, Braun doesn't even come in. Wow. Whoa. I mean, that's a big surprise. Kemp was not about to make a play. Kemp was thinking, okay, he'll score, but I want to keep the tying run at first base. And instead, the Brewers play it ultra conservatively. I mean, there was really nothing on that throw. So Braun had no thought of coming in. So with 2 out, first and third, the batter is Greg Zaun. Zaun is flied to left, struck out and singled, 1 for 3. Greg hitting .260. He has 1 home run, 11 runs batted in. He has only faced Broxton once, and he walked. On deck, Craig Counsell. And a strike. So when the game began, the Brewers certainly had a great shot of doing something the Milwaukee franchise has never done, sweeping a series in Los Angeles. That's going to be hit for a base hit. So Braun scores, fielder to second. The Dodger lead is 3-2. Broxton has given up 3 hits, and the batter now will be Craig Counsell to bat for Jeff Suppan. 2 hits and 2 runs batted in for Greg Zaun.
Pinch hitting for the Brewers, number 30, Craig Counsell.
So Craig Counsell, who played for the Dodgers, remember, having helped to win a World Series with Florida, left the Dodgers, went to Arizona, helped them win a World Series. He appeared as a pinch hitter last night and singled in the 8th inning. 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 Dodgers. And a strike. Counsell 0 for 3 against Broxton. He has walked 3 times against Jonathan, as he also struck out once. not a strike, he said. Well, Craig certainly thought the pitch was below the knees, just like Edmonds thought the pitch was outside. 0-2. Two on, two out, 3-2 Dodgers, ninth inning. And a little foul ball out of play. Casey hoping somehow that he could make the catch while on his back. Still 0-2. In the inning, after Edmonds struck out a fourth time, Braun singled to center. Fielder singled to right. After McGee flied to center and the runners held, Zahn singled home Braun. And now here is Counsell batting .326. 1 home run, 9 runs batted in. Oh, 0-2. That fastball at 95. Craig Counsell will be 40 in August, and he still looks like a baby-faced assassin up there. Broxton's working hard. This will be his 24th pitch in the inning. Time. Fielder the tying run at second. Zahn over at first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a bouncer up the middle behind the bag, off the 2 gloves, and here comes Fielder to tie it up. First it went off Jamie Carroll's glove. It also went off the glove of Blake DeWitt. And we have a 3-3 tie. As Craig Counsell singles up the middle. That is the 4th hit given up by Jonathan Broxton. So near and yet so far. Watch, you'll see Carroll get his glove on the ball, going to his left, and then diving at the ball is DeWitt. And by the time they find it, there is Fielder scoring. So once again, Craig Counsell comes up with a clutch base hit. And it's all tied 3-3 in the 9th inning. So Broxton comes in, strikes out the first man, and gives up 4 singles, and the game is even. You know, you wonder about a guy like Craig Counsell. As I mentioned, going to be 40 years old, and just plays on and on and on. And you think, well, is he ever going to get old? Well, with runners in scoring position this year, he's hitting .500. He is 7 for 14. The kid who grew up in South Bend, Indiana, and went to Notre Dame. So now the batter is Alcides Escobar. And a strike. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th inning, Jamie Carroll, then Broxton spot, and Xavier Paul. Wow, says Escobar. I don't think he thought that was a strike. Somebody hollers out of the Milwaukee dugout. Edmonds was unhappy. Counsell was unhappy, and now Escobar. 0-2. So Broxton with 1 save, and he's not going to get another. No balls, 2 strikes. And down he goes on the big slider. However, not before 4 hits, 2 runs, Craig Counsell knocks in the tie, scoring fielder, and we head to the bottom of the ninth, 3-3. Fielder, Craig stays in the game to play shortstop, and that means the reliever, LaTroy Hawkins, will go into Escobar's stop. Jody Garrett would lead off for Milwaukee if there is a 10th inning. For the Dodgers, Jamie Carroll will start it off, and for Joe Torre, he has Jonathan Broxton due to hit second, and they've called down to the bullpen, and in a moment there'll be somebody up for the Dodgers just in case. LaTroy Hawkins, the veteran, who pitched the 8th inning last night, gave up a base hit to Belliard and a walk, but got out of it. Down in the Dodger bullpen, George Sherrill begins to loosen up. So for the Dodgers, Eli, Belisario, Quo, and Broxton, and for John Eli, he has to be bitterly disappointed. It looked like he had a lock on his first major league victory, but not tonight. Well, he was so impressive. So here's Carroll. Doubled, hit into a double play, hit into a force play, 1 for 3. Garrett Anderson is on deck to hit for Jonathan Broxton. That's a strike. So Carroll, Anderson, and then Paul. Oh, 0-1. And that's probably whacked into left field, base hit. Ryan Braun up with it, gets it back in. So Carroll goes 2 for 4 with a single left. Tiebreaker is now aboard. The Dodgers have a chance to win it here. 3-3 in the ninth. Now you have a couple of fellas locking horns here who have really been around as Hawkins prepares to pitch to Garrett Anderson. Hawkins signed his first contract in 1991. He'll be 38. Anderson, meanwhile, has had an equally impressive career. See how many times they've faced each other. Anderson is 9 for 29 against Hawkins. That would be a .310 batting average. So they know each other very well. Anderson came up to the big leagues in 1994. Hawkins came up in 1995 with the Twins. So they've seen each other a lot over in the American League. Fastball, ball one. Hawkins hides that ball, both hands, hides it behind his right hip. Anderson checking with Larry Boa. Hitting 136 with a home run and 5 runs batted in for Garrett. And that's a strike. The shortstop, Counsell, plays him way over to his left up the middle. A sizable hole on the left side of the infield. And the outfield is very deep and spread straight away. 1-1. And ball 2. Bottom of the ninth, 3-3. Dodgers led 1-0, 3-0, 3-1, and now they're all even. Eli, Belisario, Quo, and Broxton, Bush, Vargas, Suppan, and Hawkins. LaTroy out of Gary, Indiana. Carroll held on by Fielder. Jamie Carroll, most of the year batting 8th. Though he doesn't do very much base running as far as stolen bases, he is 1 for 1. Waiting on deck, the left-hand hitting Xavier Paul. And that's lifted to center. Edmonds moving in for it. So Garrett Anderson, a fly ball. 1 out, and Xavier Paul coming up with Carroll at first base. Xavier Paul made the defensive play of the game, a sliding catch of the ball hit by Escobar. That was back in the 5th inning. In the first inning, Xavier walked, stole second, and came around on 2 fly balls. In the second inning, he doubled to right, and he has grounded out and struck out, though he has 1 RBI and scored 1. Paul hitting .240, and on deck, Matt Kemp. Almost threw that away. A good save by Prince Fielder. Fastball hit down the left field line, slicing foul, and back into the seats. Paid attendance tonight, 38,456. Rockies here tomorrow night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow night in Game 1 of the series, Hiroki Kuroda against Esmail Rogers. No balls and 1 strike to Xavier Paul. Carroll leaning, not going, and that's fouled away, and the count 0-2. Three runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 3 runs, 8 hits, and the error by the Brewers. No balls and 2 strikes. And ball one. Hawkins for years had the nickname Satch, as in Satchel Paige. LaTroy said, I don't know very much about him, but I have a big photo of him, and he's tall, he's black, he's a skinny pitcher with big feet, so he was just like me. So here is Satch. 1-2. All right, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball lined into left field, base hit. So Xavier Paul comes up with his second hit. And Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier now have a chance to end it. Either one. 1 out. So Ken Maka has used 4 pitchers. Dave Bush was unlucky, charged with 3 runs. Then Vargas pitched the 6th. Suppan worked the 7th and the 8th. And now Hawkins is in a lot of trouble. First and second, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th in a 3-3 tie. Matt Kemp flied to center and walked, struck out twice. And big overhand curveball for a strike. 0-1. Two on, 1 out, 3-3. "37-year-old LaTroy Hawkins. No play, but enough to send Carroll back on his stomach. Fastball, curve, splitter, and a changeup. That's in the books for LaTroy Hawkins. 0-1. Blocked nicely by Zahn. 1-1. Two on, 1 out. Big bouncer foul. Still 1-2 the count to Matt Kemp. On deck, Andre Ethier. So LaTroy Hawkins with a very tough assignment here. Kemp and Ethier hitting back to back. Ethier 1 for 3. Kemp is 0 for 3. Each man has walked once. 1-2. Greg Zahn has done a good job blocking and catching pitches down, handling 4 different pitchers tonight. So you talk about a veteran battery, there you have it. Zahn and Hawkins. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Kemp. that fly to center deep enough to advance Paul in the first inning. Walked in the second, struck out in the fifth, struck out in the seventh, and he's trying to get Jamie Carroll home to win it. Two and two to Matt Kemp. In the dirt and over the third goes Carroll. Zazan has been down on his knees blocking them, but finally he blocks one, and still a runner advances on the wild pitch. Big curveball in the dirt. It hit Greg right in the mitt. So that's a pitch I'm sure he would normally either catch or keep right around home plate, only this time it jumped away. So now the winning run is 90 feet away. LaTroy Hawkins is 0-2. The infield has to play up now, and it's a 3-2 count to Matt Kemp. The outfield very shallow, and that's ball four. So the bases are loaded for Andre Ethier. Boy, you talk about trying to do it the hard way. That's what Milwaukee is doing here. Bases loaded, one out. Andre has walked, grounded out, singled, and flied out. And, of course, everybody in the ballpark is thinking about a walk-off hit or even a scoring fly ball with one out. So the entire infield, along with the battery, gathers on the mound as Rick Peterson holds court. In the inning, Jamie Carroll single a left. After Anderson flied to center, Paul single a left. Then the wild pitch and the walk to Kemp. So the bases loaded, one out, and all the pressure, of course, is on LaTroy Hawkins. Carroll is the man. He's at third. Paul is at second. Kemp is at first. And here's Andre trying to turn out the lights. Infield up. Outfield very shallow, like a softball outfield. In the dirt. One ball and no strikes. Jim Edmonds, along with Braun and Garrett, all coming up. Fly ball beats him anyway. So Hawkins has all the pressure. He has to throw strikes. 1-0 to Andre. Whoa, almost threw that thing to the backstop. After bouncing several pitches, he really went the other way. .3-3 bottom of the ninth. 38,456. Looking for a way to go home. And the same for Jamie Carroll. 2-0. Good fastball up at 90. 2-1 to count. Reed Johnson sitting in the dugout alongside of Jonathan Broxton. Big John blew a save, but he might wind up with a victory. All the way. So the Hawk comes back now and evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rockies here tomorrow night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Carroll at third. He's the all-important man. Xavier Paul is at second. Matt Kemp at first. 1 out. 2-2 to Ethier and James Loney on deck. track and goes out. We'll take another look and see if that cleared the barrier. But the game is certainly over, and it turns out to be a grand slam for Andre Ethier. Jim Edmonds, as soon as the ball was hit, just turned to see how far it would go, and it went. And so Ethier, getting accustomed to being mobbed, turns out to hit a grand slam home run, and the Dodgers score 4 and win it 7-3. Boy, does he ever have the knack. Again and again and again. And of course, for Andre, he has always said he loves the moment. It's his second career grand slam, his second this year. And this crowd that stayed to watch the moment saw Andre